Hey guys, it's Meridy here, and I'm here with our Christmas in July mini kit. And so this kit is just a discounted kit that you got, and instead of having printed out instructions, I just made a few layouts with this, which I'm gonna make right here on this video. And I'll tell you the dimensions that I cut things right here on the video. But first of all, this is what comes in your kit. It was a Merry Christmas element sticker sheet, a packet of coordinating sequins, a piece of Simple Stories Make It Merry paper, a piece of Echo Park or Cartabella Christmas Cheer paper, a piece of Echo Park Dots and Stripes gingham paper, and then 3 sheets of white cardstock. And the first thing that we're gonna do is take this paper, and we are going to cut the branding strip off of it. And then we're going to cut it in half. So it's 6 inches by 6 inches. Or 6 inches by 12 inches, I'm sorry, 2 sheets. And then we're just gonna cut about a half an inch maybe off of each piece. Not quite a half of an inch. Yeah, I guess almost a half of an inch. Okay, because when we put them on the paper, we're gonna turn it up like that. So you got 2 little strips. We're gonna save this branding strip to work with later. And you've got these papers. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna adhere this to our papers. So we're gonna start with 2 of these white papers as the background. The third one we're gonna set off to the side. And we're just gonna go ahead and adhere these to the bottom half. If you prefer this side of the paper showing the B side, then by all means, have the plaid showing instead of this design. So we're gonna adhere that down. And we'll go ahead and adhere this down too. Just like this. And then do the same thing on the second page. I'm just gonna adhere it flush to the bottom of the page. And I'll put this little guy in there too. So now we've got a whole spread going across. And next, you can do this next part by hand with a red or a black pen. I'm going to use stamps that I have in my stash and a pencil to show you what I'm doing. So I'm gonna lightly mark where the center is from the diagonal top to the bottom. And even if you're doing this by hand, you're probably gonna wanna make these marks. Then I'm gonna do the other direction, like a big giant X across the page. Because you can also machine stitch this instead of, or hand stitch if you're inclined to hand stitch it. Basically what we're gonna do, I'm taking a stamp that looks like stitching, and I'm taking Candied Apple Distress Oxide ink from my stash. This doesn't come in the kit. That's why I'm saying you can do this by hand. You can do this with the sewing machine, and we are just going to line up these lines that we just drew. And I'm not gonna go all the way to the corner. I'm gonna stop it up here. I'm gonna do the same thing down here. I'm gonna stop it. You know what? I'm gonna get a piece of scratch paper to use real quick. Let me try this a different way than just kind of ending it. I'll show you. So I've got my little lines that I drew. There, that way I could end it off the page without re-stamping it over my, okay. We're doing a giant X, and then kind of did this out of order. I think I should have had you guys do another step first because we can't even move on with this until we get the spacing correct. So let me show you how we're gonna get the spacing correct on here. You are going to take this blue paper right here, and we're gonna cut off a 2-inch strip off the top. So just 2 inches, and cut this into 2-inch pieces. Okay, now we can finish what we started with this stamping. So you're gonna get 6 2-inch pieces, and I'll put this paper off to the side. We'll cut more paper in a minute. Okay, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna pretend, do not adhere these down. We're just pretending like this is how they're sitting along here. And this is how I know where to come in and stamp another line. Of now I have the spacing. Do you see what I mean? So now we're gonna move these over to this side. And I'm gonna pretend as if they're adhered right here. And that's how I can tell where my next line of stitching is going to go. I guess you could measure it too. Since these are 2 inches, these lines are about 2 1/4 inches away from each other, but it just makes it really simple to just lay these out. It's not a bunch of measuring and pencil marks all over your page then. And we'll do one more on this side. So and we'll actually do one more short little line right there. Okay, and then we'll continue over here. And I'm doing this kind of fast because I already, you know, experimented and did this once off camera. So I'm kind of used to it. So if you're not super fast at this at the very beginning, it's okay. I'm doing it pretty quickly. Okay, so we've got all the diagonals going that direction, and then we're gonna come in along the center line here. Yep, what am I doing? And we're going to do the lines going the other way. But the way that we do it, again, is placing those in the right spot. Okay, and then move them down and do one more row of stamping. And like I said, you can do this by hand. You could just draw lines. It doesn't have to be dotted, stamped lines. You can use black ink if you don't like the red or don't have the red, or machine stitching. My original thought was I was going to machine stitch all of this, and I just got lazy. I'll be honest. I didn't want to take all the time to machine stitch it, and then I knew if I did it once that I would have to do it for the video. So I thought to myself, I'm just gonna use a stamp, and that's how we ended up here. Alrighty. I'm almost done. So after you do this to this whole page, I am going to go off camera and do this to the other page. And I just didn't go to the ends because I didn't want to, but you could go all the way to the ends of the paper. But I'm going to come back and do that off camera right now to this whole sheet as well. So once you get both of those sheets, and honestly, I think in the center seam where they meet, I might just carry these all the way across. We'll see. But I'm gonna go off camera and do that, and I will be right back. All right, guys, so we have both of these going on here. And the next thing we're going to do is to grab our pictures. And you may know from watching my videos in the past that instead of photos on my videos, I use papers to represent my photos. So I've got those all here, and we're gonna mat them on this paper that we have left here. So the way to get all these fit on this paper is I trimmed my photos down slightly. So these photos down here that say 3 by 4 are really 2 1/4 by 3, or 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. I trimmed 1/4 of an inch off of 2 sides of these small ones. Okay, so I trimmed like 1/4 of an inch off here, 1/4 of an inch off here. So they're just slightly smaller than 3 by 4, and same with this 4 by 6 photo. It's really 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. And that way you can get all of them matted on this blue sheet of paper, I think. So we're gonna start by cutting 4 by 6, a 4 by 6 rectangle. Okay, so since this is 4 by 6 rectangle, it will fit perfectly to mat this picture because we trimmed it down a little bit. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see. Okay. And this other one that was 4 by 6, we can trim down to 3 by 4. And then all of these we can trim to 3 by 4 squares. So we'll get 3 by 4 squares out of all of the rest, or 3 by 4 rectangles out of all of the rest of this. Okay, that gives us 8, and I think I have 7 photos to mat. So I am going to real quickly mat the rest of my mat all my photos on this, and I will be right back. And if you have slightly different photo sizes or configurations, like if they're going, you know, portrait instead of landscape, as long as you have approximately the same amount as me, you can probably get them all matted on this blue paper. And like I said, these 6 little blue squares we're gonna use on our background. So we've got all the photos matted, and I'm going to go ahead actually and adhere the photos down before doing anything else, just because I know where I want them, and I'm just gonna start doing it. This one's gonna go up a little higher, and this will be even with that one. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and just adhere all of my photos right where I've got them. And you can do that too. I ended up, as you can see, not taking the stamped image to the very center. It wasn't lining up perfectly to do that from one page to the next. I was fine, but it ends like that. It just looks like it's stitched not quite to the middle of the page, which is fine. Especially if you're doing these 2 layouts not even next to each other. If they're like 2 completely separate pages or albums, like you'll never even know. Because although this is a a double page layout, you could obviously make it just be 2 single page layouts. Okay, so we've got all of this, and next we're going to take this piece of paper that is green on one side and red on the other, and we're going to cut 2 2-inch strips from it. So 2 inches and 2 inches. And then we're gonna cut these strips into 2-inch pieces. So you'll get 6 2-inch pieces from each strip. So these are 2 by 2 squares now. And we're gonna keep half of them red on our layout, and the other half are going to be green on our layout. I'm just kind of doing this really, really quickly. I'm not being super careful here because I don't want this video to get long and boring. Okay, so we've got our papers, and honestly, guys, I just randomly put them. See how they fit so nicely in these little things that I stamped? I just randomly started putting them. I didn't fill in every white square. I just put a few on each page to make it look a little bit uneven and asymmetrical, because I like that look of asymmetry on my layouts. Sometimes you have to peel up a picture to get one stuck in the right place. And then you'll see how this one goes off the page, that red one, and this green one as well. If you want to trim, after you glue them down, trim them off. We'll go in and add those into, what happened here? Oh, I see what's happening here. I think, remember I had this one last mat that I didn't use. I'm gonna cut this into into some 2 by 2 squares. I think you can cut it into 2 by 2 squares. And I'm gonna use one more of them right there. Okay, so now I'm gonna adhere all this down. I'm gonna go back and trim off the little ends, and then I'm gonna show you where to put these little pieces that have gone off the edge. So I'm going to just give them a little adhesive, and I will be right back after I get these all adhered down. Alrighty, guys. So I've got everything adhered, and this is how I trim it. I just simply flip my paper upside down on my trimmer, line it up, make sure it's lined up well, and trim. And I'll do this to 3, I think I have to do it to 3 sides of each paper. The top, the bottom, and the outside edge. Anywhere that there's little triangles from your squares hanging off the edge. See? And then it's all nice and even. Okay, let me do the other page. And then we're gonna reuse the little scrap of one of those. If you wanted to fill in every single one of these with the color, you could do that. There is plenty of that, the red and the green paper left. And depending if you had less pictures than I did to mat on the blue, you would have some more of that blue paper left. But I didn't want to do every single one because I kind of liked it random, patchworky. And this way I even used the extra scrap of that red paper to make another layout, which I'll show you after we're done with this layout. So this one I stuck over here, and then I just simply trimmed off that excess, just like I did on the other pages. Okay, so now we have the base of our layout all ready, and it's time to add embellishments. So the sticker sheet is our obvious set of embellishments on this layout, and I used a ton of stickers, and I used some foam adhesive to give it a little bit of depth. And I will go over every single sticker that I put on here and where which ones I used foam adhesive. I'm going to start with this big strip at the bottom, and I cut it into pieces. So there's no rhyme or reason to the length of the pieces. Maybe 2 inches there, 3 inches here, maybe. And the reason why I cut it into pieces was even just to savor just a little bit here and there for where it's gonna be overlapped with another sticker. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these, and then I'm not gonna quite put them down yet because there's a lot of overlapping going on. We're gonna start with this cluster right up here. So I took the Merry Christmas and I put this on foam adhesive. So in this video, I am doing this quickly and pretty messy, not using a ton of adhesive because you don't want to watch me peel adhesive for 5 minutes trying to get it nicely, but you can get the idea that it's on foam adhesive. And that is gonna go right here. I notice I didn't peel the adhesive off. I'm just getting everything placed. I used the Oh What Fun sticker, and I kind of wedged it underneath here. So see, now we've got that going on, and you can't even tell that there's a break in these. Okay, I also used a green snowflake right here and a light blue snowflake right here. And then I used these 2 different strings of lights. So I used this littler string of lights that has 5 light bulbs. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this Merry Christmas because I don't want it moving around on me when I'm showing you how I did these lights. So the Merry Christmas is getting adhered right there. Okay, so then I took this little string of lights. I cut it into the 2 pieces and the 3 pieces. The 2 pieces, I had it hanging out, looking like it's coming out right there. And then these 3, I had them looking like they're coming out of right there, okay? And then the end is like hidden. You can't tell that they're really not connected so much. So then I took these 3 lights and I trimmed the red one off and I popped it up on foam tape. This is like, I love altering stickers and embellishments because you can just think of so many different things to do with them. So I put it up on foam tape and it goes right in between those other 2 balls. Okay, and then the green, I actually cut these apart as well. And then I put them on foam tape. And then I put the green one in between the blue and the red. And then I put the light blue one in between the red and the green bulb. If you want, see how this is so long? I'm gonna cut this little piece off so it looks like it connects. Okay, and I'm gonna use my tweezers because see how right here in the background this white one and this blue one aren't connected? I'm gonna use my little tweezers and put that little scrap right there so it looks like they're still connected all the way across. You don't have to do that, okay? No one's gonna notice it, but I liked it. Okay, so there's that. If you wanted to fill in more balls, there is another string of lights that we have on here, and you can fill in more bulbs in there. But in my original layout, I think there was somebody's head was right there, so I didn't want it to go all the way across. But there is another string of light stickers that you can use to embellish this little area or put them closer together if you want. Okay, now that is the end of this cluster right here. And now let's work on this little cluster. So I've got this Meridy and Bright, and I'm gonna put it about right there. And then we've got the Santa carrying all the gifts. And I'm gonna use foam adhesive to stick him down. Again, I'm going super fast with the adhesive. I'm not even getting it on the whole thing. He's gonna adhere, kind of overlapping my picture a little and kind of overlapping that Meridy and Bright that we just put down. Okay, then we've got this one that says the most wonderful time of the year. And I'm gonna put that right about there. I'm gonna put a red snowflake circle and a navy snowflake circle, just to kind of dress that sticker up a little. This piece of the lights, I'm gonna just stick right across the bottom. Okay, this car with the Christmas tree on top, I'm gonna put up on foam tape. And you guys obviously don't have to use the same stickers that I'm using, especially if they're not making sense with your pictures. There's lots of stickers on the sticker sheet to use, and there's quite a few left over even after making all three layouts. There's still quite a few left to choose from. So, and then I'm gonna put some ornaments over here just to add a little more to this cluster that I've got happening. And a green ornament, I know it's on here. And actually this one has a little line of the hanger, but these other two didn't, so it looked silly to me to leave that, so I trimmed it off. So it doesn't have a hanger on there either. If I wanted, I could go in with black pen and draw the little hanging wires. I might do that, I might not. Okay, let's work on the second half of this layout. I'm gonna move this side off to the side while we finish up this second half. So this one, again, we've got this going on, and then we've got a Santa, and he says making a list, but I didn't really want the making a list to show. So what I did was I covered it with the sticker that says Christmas time. And yeah, a little bit still sticks out right there, but it's okay with me. And then this other little tiny end piece, whoop, I shouldn't have stuck him down yet because I want to wedge this underneath there. So it looks like this background sticker is long. And then I put a Christmas tree on here, and again with foam tape. And I'm gonna put a little bit more. This isn't even gonna hold correctly. And I just had the Christmas tree kind of overlap a little. And then Santa is coming to town. I know there's a sticker here that says Santa is coming to town right here. That one I put in there. I put a little red bow down here, or down here, I guess. And then I put a couple more of these little round snowflake stickers, just to kind of carry that theme of the little round stickers to every single one of the embellishment clusters. But that's it for this page. I just did those clusters. I'll probably add some journaling strips in this area right here and the date. But this is how that layout comes together, okay? And then I'm gonna take the other sheet of white paper that came in your kit, along with the rest of these stamps, not all of them, but a lot of them. And seriously guys, it's these little tiny scraps and the branding strips, and we are going to make another layout with that, so I will show you that right now. Okay, so I am here with my white sheet of paper and this, and I'm going to use 2 pictures on this one. I'm going to use 2 3x4 pictures, 1 landscape and 1 portrait. I am going to not even matte these pictures, but if you wanted, you could matte them on maybe a white piece of paper from your stash. There's no more white paper left in this kit, so we can't really matte them on anything from this kit, but I'm not going to matte them at all. So we are going to take this piece of the red and the green paper, trim the branding strip off. We're going to cut it in 2-inch sections again. This is 8 inches right here because we've already cut 4 inches off the top. So we're going to cut we're going to cut into all 6 strips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but we're not even going to really use the 6th one right now. We're just going to use 5, and we're going to stagger them. Let me move these scraps out of the way so you're not looking at all of this messy stuff right now. Okay, we'll move the pictures off, and then we're going to stagger them at different heights, at different angles. If you wanted, you could trim them short, some pieces shorter, which I did. I trimmed the 2 red pieces a little shorter, and I just took scissors and trimmed. I was not very particular. Okay, I just trimmed that one a little shorter. And I trimmed this other one a little shorter. And it was no... Okay, and then I kind of staggered the pieces, angled them. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and adhere these just like this. So I'm going to start at the end. I'm going to keep it slightly low to the page. Not right in the center of the page, but more on the bottom half of the page. If you wanted to, you could notch the edges to look like banners of all of these. That would be super cute. I just left mine straight, but it would be really cute to notch the edges. And then they don't need to be exactly like symmetrical from one side to the other. The whimsy and the little unevenness is what kind of makes it cute. But I am making this real symmetrical here. There, a little asymmetrical. And then you're going to go ahead and adhere your photos. And I just stuck one like this and one like this. I'm actually going to move this one up a little. Let's see. Yeah, I just stuck my photos kind of like that. Okay, and then I went to my branding strips. I'm not worried about the blue one at all. I went to my branding strips and I cut them. See, this branding strip has half and half. I cut it exactly in half. And I laid that down the center of that, and I cut this so it would stick out a little at the top and a little at the bottom. Okay. And then I cut this branding strip about like that, and I'm gonna adhere it down here in just a minute. And then I did not put anything in the center of this, but for the center of this one, I used this sticker, but you also have a piece of this that you can use. So I'm just gonna cut, this was the last little strip. I'm just gonna cut a strip of that about the same width, like a 1/2 inch, like the branding strip. Okay, and then I'm going to put it mostly, well, I'm gonna have to cut it more because I already adhered my photos, but it's gonna stick out like the top and the bottom, like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and adhere these pieces down real quick here. And if you wanted to do a little more with the stitching, or with your stitching stamp, or your hand stitching, machine stitching, or even just like drawing, you know, like faux stitching with a pen, or just a black line, which I think I'll do that. I think I'll use a black line. I'll do that as an example on this for you to show you what I mean. You can make it look just like another added little thing on here. Let me show you what I mean. I'm just gonna take a black pen and I'm gonna go through the top and the bottom. Very messy like that. Almost just like, and again, you don't have to do this part, especially if you don't like it. If you don't like the look of it, or you don't want to mess up your layout. I'm gonna make this one go down there. Okay, but that kind of just adds a little bit to it. So I kind of like it. All right, next we are going to take all of your stickers and we're gonna start with this swag. And we're gonna put at the top, and I made the bows go off the top ever so slightly. Not really the bows, just like the top of that little bit of green, if you see what I mean. And then I just went in and I trimmed that off. Again, I trim it off by putting it upside down on my trimmer and seeing what's hanging over the edge. I just trimmed those little pieces off. Okay. And next, I liked this. Try to get everything so you can see it all on here nicely. I liked this Noel banner. So I kind of wedged the N up in there. These stickers are very forgiving, so if you need to lift them or reapply them, as long as you don't push them down really hard the initial time, you can peel them off pretty easy and re-stick them on. And I just decided to put little blue snowflakes in between each letter. There's all kinds of little tiny snowflakes on this sticker sheet. And I just decided to use only the blue ones. I know there's more, I know there's more. Seriously. Oh, I found one. Okay, so I just put those in between. And then for the clusters over here, I put the It's Christmas Time. And then I put a little thing of, what is this called? Oh my gosh, mistletoe. and a little wreath. And then I popped this lady up on foam tape. Put her up there. And she's gonna overlap that wreath a little. And then coming across the bottom, I did not use these on my other layout, this mini little thing of ornaments, so I just stuck, or of bulbs, so I stuck them right there, but you might have used those on your other layout, so you might not have those to stick there. And then over here, on this side, I grounded my cluster with the snow globe. And then I put a candy cane up here. And then this I put up on foam tape. Like that. And I did put a little sprig of holly on top of him. Right there. And then I put another little ornament sticking out underneath there. Like that. And then down here I put one last cluster that says "'Tis the Season." And I put another thing of mistletoe on that. I put the other candy cane coming over there. I put a couple ornaments down here below it. And then I took the little Santa running with all of these gifts and I put him on foam adhesive as well. Okay. And he's like hanging out over here. And that is all I did for that page. And like I said, you have lots of stickers left. So if some of the stickers that I used didn't work as well, look, there's a couple bulbs in here that you could have actually used on the other page or put them in between these bulbs, however you want to do it. Anyways, oh, I almost forgot. I did sprinkle sequins in these little areas too. I'm not going to do that on camera because it takes me 10 minutes to get them glued down. And you don't want to watch that. So this is the second, the single page layout that we made. And this is the double page layout that we made. And again, I added sequins to this one too, like a little there, just a few little sequins in the places around. So guys, there's going to be still shots of this at the end of our layout. And I hope you had fun putting together this simple discount mini kit with me. And Happy Christmas in July. See you later. Bye.